Hi, Union Local community. It's Zac Shutler, Superintendent of Union Local School District. I wanted to share the survey results from the bond survey that was shared last week. We all know that the bond failed. The November election wasn't really close at all. But we also know as a district that passing a bond is crucial to the long-term sustainability of the district. So I want to share the survey results with you and also address some of the questions or comments that were posted in the survey and give the facts. Main reason for voting no, again, this was a survey that 113 people completed. So we know that it might not reflect the entirety of the community's feelings, but there's also some really quality data here, and we want to thank you for giving that to us. 43% didn't have any issue with the bond on its surface. I think most people in the community know that these buildings were constructed in the mid-1990s, and the end of life is coming very quickly for our roof, our HVACs, and probably already here for a lot of our plumbing, especially in the middle school. So I know that the community believes that we have needs, but they also gave us some other reasons as to why they voted no, and I would like to address some of those. The first thing that came up in the other responses, this is where people could type in their response. People simply cannot afford increased property taxes. Our first core value as a district is to take care of yourself so that you can take care of others. And if anybody in our community is struggling to make their house payment, their rent, or buy groceries for their family, we totally understand why you wouldn't support the bond. I want to be very transparent and upfront about that. These are personal decisions, and every family, every individual has the right to make the decision that best suits their needs. So if it was a fiscal reason, we totally understand. The second thing that came up was the tax reassessment. That's all across the county. I think everyone that owns property, for the most part, their taxes increased, in some cases increased substantially. Again, that is a real concern, and we know that the timing wasn't great for a bond to be run the same year that the tax reassessments took place. So again, understand fiscal reasons. Number three, where is the tax money going now to fund the district? I think that's a great question. And we're on the 20 mil floor, which is a term for how we receive funding from the state. We have not collected on any new money since 1991. There was a permanent improvement levy that was passed in 1993, but it was non-renewed in 1998. So that's where the money's going, is that it's not necessarily coming in at the level of the increased costs to run a building or multiple buildings this size and fund the running of education. So I give a lot of credit to previous superintendents, previous treasurers, current treasurer, all the people that handle the money aspect of the district. And it should also be noted that we receive perfect audits for the last 10 years. Every year we're audited by the state to determine if we're spending our funds appropriately with the proper documentation. And for 10 consecutive years, we've received a perfect audit, which is very difficult and challenging to do. So that's a credit to all of our folks that work in the payroll and accounts payable department. Number five, the money would not be used for what it is intended for. I think that's the benefit for taxpayers when there's a bond instead of a levy. A levy can be used for operating costs, such as curriculum, salaries, things of that nature. A bond can only be spent specifically on what it was listed as in the issue. So for this matter, we can only use the money for new roofing, for HVAC, for plumbing, for asphalt work, and for some of the other things like the STEM labs and security updates. Why can't a grant cover the infrastructure improvements? There simply aren't grants out there to cover infrastructure renovations. There are Appalachian grants out there. Another local district received a grant for student wellness that's going to build a student wellness center. So those grants are out there if you qualify, but flat grants just to cover the cost of general district maintenance like roofs and HVACs, those are not readily available. We did receive the ESSER money during COVID. That was used to repair the air handlers. That was a big project, and we had air handler issues to where we weren't getting fresh air circulated in the building because they had broken many years ago. So that was a big chunk of what the ESSER money was used for. Number 7, gas and oil revenue should cover the cost. I know that our lease expired a few years back and was not renewed, so there is no gas and oil money coming in directly to the district. Belmont County should consolidate school districts for fiscal purposes. Belmont County does have 7 school districts. It is expensive to run them all, but that would be a decision for the community to make, not one that we would consider right now with my administration. So those are some of the other responses that came up that we wanted to address and give you clarity. What do you most strongly support? Most people thought the basics need addressed: plumbing, HVAC, electric, air quality. What portions do you oppose? Most people on its surface didn't oppose any of it, 76.6%. I think that's the general consensus that I've heard in the community. It's not so much that anybody opposes it, it's just the cost. Some of the other responses in this category: I do not agree with how the money is currently being spent. I think I addressed that in the previous one. We're audited every year by the state. For 10 straight years, we received a perfect audit rating. Another response: people that do not have children in school will not vote for it. Belmont County is a community that is older, I think, than the national average. So we do have a lot of people that don't have kids currently in school. And I think that's always a concern when you're trying to pass a bond or levy. Most people think there is a need, 94.7% that did the survey. Most people agree that the bond amount is set at the right number. We reduce it from 62 million to 35 million. I'm not sure how much lower we can go because the 35 million covers mainly the essentials only: HVAC, plumbing, roofing, asphalt repair. And the downside of the $35 million cost is that with inflation, with current rising prices, for every year that it doesn't pass, it's going to get more expensive to get these projects done. Most people believe, which I think makes perfect sense, the middle school was most in need. It's our oldest building by far. Most people would support a bond over a levy. And like I said, the bond is usually more agreeable to the taxpayer in the sense that it can only be spent on what we tell you in advance what it's going to be spent on, where a levy is much more for operational costs day to day. Most people think that, I shouldn't say most, but 41.6% of the people think once every 10 years is a good time to ask for more support financially from the community. Once every 5 years was second at 20.8. And the third is that school districts should never request additional tax support from the community. Again, I respect people's opinions, but school districts in general are heavily funded by their local communities, and without local community support, the districts will cease to exist. And again, we have not collected any new money that is currently being collected since 1991. Here's other comparable districts and the last time that they've received new money. Bridgeport passed a bond in 2004, and they just recently renewed their operating levy this past November. Bel Air in 1998 passed a bond. They renewed an operating levy in 2023. Barnesville, it's been a little while. In 1999, they passed a bond and a permanent improvement levy. That permanent improvement levy is continuous, meaning that they receive funds yearly for permanent improvements for things like roofing, HVAC, things of that nature. Martins Ferry in 2003 passed a bond and a continuing permanent improvement levy in 2003 as well, 2003. Shadyside, just recently this past November, renewed their operating levy. St. Clairsville in 2001 passed a bond. They passed a continuing operating levy in 2013. Those continuing operating levies and permanent improvement levies are so important because it allows projects to be completed through the course of time. I mean, anybody that owns a house knows that things are going to go bad and that they need replaced. And having that money readily available allows those things to take place before things get into dilapidated of a shape. Harrison Hills, 2015, they passed a bond and a permanent improvement levy. And then Union Local, in 1995, we passed the bond that was for the construction of the new buildings. I believe that was heavily state supported, so it was subsidized by the state. We rejected the permanent improvement levy renewal in 1998 that was passed in 1993. So again, our permanent improvement levy was passed in 1993, and then it was a 5-year permanent improvement levy, and it was rejected in 1998. The district tried to get that permanent improvement levy passed again twice in 1999 and again in 2003, and was soundly rejected by the community each time. In 2014, the district tried twice to pass an income tax levy. Both times it failed. So again, the last time that we collected any new money that's currently still being collected is 1991. If we look at other districts, Bridgeport renewal in 24, Bel Air renewal in 23, Barnesville 99, Ferry 2003, Shadyside renewal in 24, St. Clairsville 2013, Harrison Hills 2015, Union Local the last time 1991. So the district has been very cognizant of not going back to the taxpayers very often, and we've not had any luck getting anything new passed for quite some time. So I just wanted to show this to you to show that there is a need, and we are the last district to pass any type of new money. How important is Union Local to the community? 83.9% say extremely important. And I know as superintendent, Union Local is, the keystone to the community. And we want Union Local to be the choice of students in our district for the foreseeable future. And we don't necessarily love at all coming to the community for fiscal support, but we are in need. And we just want to cover the meat and potatoes to make sure that we have a dry building, a warm building, a cool building in the summer, and effective plumbing for water and bathroom purposes for our students and our staff. So the needs are real. The time has elapsed between the last time that we've collected any new money, and we just want to make everybody aware of the facts. And then, people have the right to make their decision. If you have any questions for me, you can always email or reach out, or you can attend any board meeting. Our board meetings are the third Thursday of each month. Thank you.